Hello everyone. I wanted to do a brief video up. I have some exciting news. My sixth book has been released to the public. The name of the book is Undercover Lovers, the Tuxedo Affair. And of course there's the front, and there's the back. And it's officers Stephen Mercury and Jamie Conway are assigned to a case which leads them on a wild goose chase. In the process of trying to keep up with their perps, the pair discover they have a lot in common. Will the truths they discover help them to solve the case, or will it wind up causing them to lose it all? This book actually will be the first full chapter, and part of the second chapter will be 9 years old this year. I actually started this book back in 2005, the story, and I was still working on my first novella, Sarah's Journey, at the time, and the book, the idea actually got pushed aside, and then I had come back to it and worked a little bit more on it back in 2006, but it just wasn't something that I could really do. I had struggled with writer's block, and I just couldn't come up with like the meat of the story. So I had put the story, on the back burner. And just last year, actually, back in December, I decided it was time to pull the book back out and bring the story back out and try to complete it. I said it wasn't fair to have that story be that old and just be sitting there. And it was something that I had really wanted to do over the years, like I said, but every time I came to it, I just struggled with such a bad writer's block that I felt like there was a wall that I just couldn't, I couldn't break through. So towards the very end of December, going into early January, I worked really hard to come up with this book. And it's actually one of the tiniest books. Sarah's Journey, amazingly enough, is actually bigger than this, but this is also one of the cheaper books that I have out. There's 12 chapters, and then there's a thing after that for telling what happens 6 months later. And as I have here, telling about the book, like I said, I started Undercover Lovers back in 2005. I was finishing up work on my first novella, Sarah's Journey. When the idea for this book came about, I wrote a little bit and then went on to other things. By 2006, I had self-published Sarah's Journey and had pulled Undercover Lovers back out to give it another shot. I wrote the first chapter and part of the second chapter, and then was hit by writer's block. From that point on, I would only pull the story out whenever I stumbled upon it while going through other writing pieces. I would wind up writing a middle section, the final chapter, and the dress-up scene, but that was that. The story has sat dormant until the 6th of January in 2014. Well, that's when I officially started, but I did have it out and laying around and everything, but I officially picked up on it then. I finally had time and determination to get my butt back in motion and bring these characters and the story to life. The parts mentioned above were not used, only the first 2 chapters, which were tweaked, and then the dressing scene where Stephen is getting Jamie ready to go into the ballroom. Part of that scene was already written back in 2012. So definitely something that I had really wanted to do. This book is dedicated to my great-grandma Ella and my great-great-aunt Helen. These 2 women were the ones to get me reading romance novels in the first place. I will forever cherish the times of exchanged books, initialing and dating, and trying to read whichever book it was faster than they had. They will be forever missed. My friend Bambi Cole edited for me once again, which was really awesome, and to know that she enjoyed the book really means a lot, and she's definitely a great help in everything. She actually couldn't wait to edit this and was just dying to get a hold of it, so it's nice to have somebody, that's that into that. But here's the cover again. The outfit that you actually see, I was trying to do, I wanted a tuxedo, couldn't get a tuxedo, so this is actually a suit. But it looks, like a tuxedo, and I think that some people may interpret it one way and some may interpret it another way, so I think that that's a fun thing right there. And so that helped that my grandfather had that. Now, the pricing for this right now, and this is why I released it so early. I was going to hold on to this till the 14th of February and put it out, it was a Valentine's Day special thing. But right now through Lulu.com, where I do the books through, and I will put a thing down below with the information for this. They're actually doing a special where you get 14% off all orders, you know, using the code and everything that they give you and everything. You have until I think it's like 11:56, 11:57, whatever it is, and everything on the 14th of February and everything. You have up until that point before the offer ends. So what you're going to do is, the cost of the book is $8.55, and the code that you use is, and it has to be all in caps, is AMOR and then the number 14. And with that, there's already you're already getting and everything, per me and everything, I'm giving a 25% discount. So you're already getting that on top of the 14% off. So you're saving well over $4 just between these two discounts. So that'll take your book from $8.55 down to $7.35. And then for the cheapest shipping is $3.99, which equals to $11.34. Now that's $11.34, like I said, up until, you know, after 11 o'clock, whenever it is and everything, on Valentine's Day. After that, you'll go back to the regular pricing again. You won't have a code to use until they come up with another code, and they do that every now and again. So the book will be, you know, it'll still be $8.55, but without the code, once you add in the cheapest shipping amount of $3.99, your book, the total will be $12.54. After, like I said, after February the 14th, it'll be $12.54. So that's that. Like I said, it's one of the smaller books. I don't have Sarah's Journey out here handy, but obviously, you know, Sarah's Journey is just a little bit thicker than this. Neither book actually made the novel status, because you have to actually crank out about 50,000 words, 200 pages to be the equivalent of a novel. So it didn't make that, but which I'm a little disappointed with that. But I guess that the story, you know, I'm happy with the story, and that's really all that matters. Now, for anybody that's in the local area, I have to wait for my copy to get here because I have to have with the ISBN number on it. I just assigned that last night. This book will be put into the public library down here in town. I always do that. I'm going to put it in memory of my Aunt Helen, my great Aunt Helen that was mentioned here in the book. Out of everybody, you know, that I've done for, she was the last one that I hadn't put a book in for yet, and somehow I happened to miss that. So I decided that this would be perfect, knowing that I actually got started, like I had said, getting books and everything that my great-grandma Ella and, of course, Aunt Helen had read. Harlequin Intrigue, the purple, and I always say there's two different shades of purple and everything. You would have to look. I'm not getting up to get with that right now. I'm not messing with that. But there was one kind that we read more than the other ones. I only read the shade of purple that I read. I didn't read any other ones. But during around, they would write, you know, that they started on this on this date and everything, and they ended on this date, and then they would write, you know, how the book was. It was excellent, good, fair, whatever. And that's where I got, you know, about trying to see, okay, well, it took her like 5 days to read this. Can I read this in less than 5 days? Because they are fairly easy reading books, and they're good books with a good, you know, variety. Because I like to have that, where you have like that romance there, but you also have that mystery and that crime and stuff, which is really, you know, it's really good. I love it, and I love the twists and turns and stuff. And so that really, I mean, I've always wanted to write for Harlequin Intrigue, but their criteria is something that I can't really match up to. I'm not that good to be able to do that, and if I could fit the criteria, I would love someday to try, you know, to have, you know, a book somewhere in there with the books and everything that they published in that, but it's just not something that I can meet right now. So it's just exciting, you know, to be able to cover. I mean, obviously I've got the poetry books, the poetry lyric books. I did a family book, of course, nobody got that but the family, but I did a family book, you know, with the poems and stuff and whatever, and everything for birthdays, anniversaries, whatever, and everything. And then to have, you know, the novella and everything, my first novella, Sarah's Journey, and then to turn around and have, you know, now my first romance novella. And I think that's probably something unique, because how often do you hear of a romance novella? It's usually a romance novel, so it makes it kind of unique, you know, out of other books. And so, just trying to cover a little bit of everything. Someday I would like to dabble, you know, with doing children's books, and just so you know what else I can do. I mean, there's some stuff like sci-fi and stuff like that that I'll never get into. I've written things where, you know, like where people use magic and stuff like that and everything, but I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about bringing up and doing like a thing with that, but I don't know if I'm actually going to or not. But it's nice to be able to do these different things and not be, you know, so much on like a timeline and that, working for somebody else, but doing it in my own time, you know, when I'm able to do and everything and work and just put in so much time each day working whenever it really feels, you know, appealing to me, and it makes it work so much better and so much smoother that way, and gives me a chance to try to catch my errors and, you know, weigh things out and whatnot. So that's that. I had really anticipated getting this yesterday, and it came a little bit later than I had planned on and everything, but it's nice to finally, you know, have it. And once I get the copy that's going to go into the library, that'll be put in there. I'm going to get an article. I already started the article up for the local paper here, the Echo, and I'm going to try to get an article in there soon. I just got to get that, you know, kind of tweaked in that and get pictures taken with this so I can get a picture to accompany it. And I want to kind of wait for the book to be in the library first before I feature it in the Echo. But, you know, via word of mouth and everything, I'm going to try to get it around town that it's out. And so just let me know. You know, I'm going to have information here underneath, but let me know, you know, what you think. Any questions, you know, you can always contact me. I'm not very hard to find. You see, obviously, the name and that goes with this, and I don't know if they have my real name on here or not. I can't remember, but I can put all that information below if you want to contact me on, like, Facebook or something. But, yeah, it's just, it's nice to be able to do stuff like this. I encourage everybody to try to do something like this, even if you think that you can't write. Just try it. You know, it doesn't hurt, and just because you write something doesn't mean that you have to share it with anybody. But it's nice to be able to have that outlet, and even if it's not writing, you know, whatever your outlet is, it's nice to have that. But I know it's really, you know, something that works for me, and I just hope that everybody takes a chance. And sites like Lulu, you know, allow people to be able to take what they do and get it out there, because sometimes to go through an actual, you know, like Harlequin and Intrigue, a publisher like that or somebody, that's a process in itself, and it's a long drawn out thing, and it gives somebody, you know, more control over your book to do with editing and that, whereas with self-publishing you're able to have, basically, to me, you have full control, you know, of your work. And I find that that works better, because I'm the kind of person, I can't stand somebody, you know, cutting everything up and chopping it up. If I'm writing it the way that I'm writing it, it's coming from me. Fixing little mistakes and errors and stuff is fine, but I just don't want anybody to completely manipulate the story, and I'm sure that you maybe could understand, you know, from that perspective. But like I said, all the information will be below, and here's the cover, which is not really what I had hoped for. I had hoped to do something a little bit different, but when you can't get a tuxedo, it's really hard to do, and I just, even just to go and like rent one, that would be too expensive, and it wouldn't make any sense, you know. So I was going to try and make one, but it's just too much work. So I hope that everybody likes it, and I think it does fit the book and everything. I like having unique covers. I think that, to me, it's not just the story and, you know, and what's inside the book. It's also the cover on the outside that helps to sell. It helps to make it, you know, what it is. And you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but it definitely does help to draw people in. And I hope that this draws a lot of people in. And I thank everybody for watching, and have a good weekend. I love you guys. God bless. Mwah.